The short film you're about to see will give you a brief overview of Sussex Pathways and the services it provides to offenders leaving prison.
I'm director of Sussex Pathways, and we're a charity that started initially from Lewes Prison, working with the chaplaincy team, where it had been identified that there was a number of people that were being released from prison without any support back into the community.
Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face? You just bear this in mind. A true friend is hard to find. So don't you mind people grinning in your face? Your mother will talk about you, your sisters and your brothers too. Don't care how you try to live, they talk about you still. Just bear this in mind, a true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face?
I don't have much family. I've been in care all my life. I had nothing. Didn't really have like clothes or anything. I felt really down and stuff. Ended up in a hostel, pretty grim place. But at the end of the day, that's what I had to go through. I knew my life had to change. Like this was like last chance. I couldn't go through all that again. It was just too much. But I think you need to be ready to change, and you need to want it yourself. I knew that I couldn't mess this opportunity up. It was the volunteer aspect of it that got me. People that obviously volunteer, they volunteer for a reason. It's easier for me to know if someone's more genuine. If they're a volunteer, in my eyes, I can just basically just trust them straight away that they really do want to help. They're not getting paid for it. They're people that want to help. They're not just there for money and for a paycheck. What it's done for me, if it can do that again for someone else, I mean, it's just really good, and I just think it just needs to continue and just grow.
I was introduced to Sussex Pathways before being released from prison because I had a few problems regarding my release, and if it wasn't for the lady that was with me when I got to the Sussex Pathways being released from prison, she waited an hour and a half outside the prison for me to be released. I'm sure if it wasn't for Sussex Pathways, I certainly wouldn't be here now. I'd probably be homeless and probably would have done something to get put back in prison.
6 weeks before my release, the mentor came and saw me once a week. They actually provided me with stuff for which I was interested in, which was college, further education, stuff like that. They did offer me the opportunity to actually meet me at the gate. Meeting once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks, then it went down to probably once every 3 weeks.
Like if you want me to put a load of phone numbers somewhere.
We will lead the groups initially. They will learn from maybe our experiences or other people's experiences. The main thing is people come and that they gain skills from it, and hopefully in turn that will lead them on to a better sort of future without sort of offending.
Sometimes just having someone that you can tell someone your problems and try to show that they have someone that can listen and help and guide and care is a really big part of being a mentor. We have discussions and we have training programs set up for us, so there's always that support.
The work that this organisation does seems quite crucial as a stepping stone from being in prison, institutionalised and mistrustful of authorities and services, into being established in the community and being able to access services with confidence. It's about giving confidence, and it's about nurturing autonomy and promoting independence. It's not about holding someone's hand and doing it for them.
Well, I've come from a background of teaching, and I was a deputy head for a number of years in a junior school, and I'd also been in charge of the special needs department for many years. So I'd come into contact with a lot of troubled families that needed a lot of support. I'd had to work quite closely with social services and the police and so on. And a lot of the qualities that I needed as a teacher to deal with the outside agencies and the parents and the children themselves are very similar. The ongoing training we've had has been great as well. I just wish we could have more of it. I just can't praise them highly enough, and they're so positive. Every time you send in a report, the email you get back is just full of praise, and they really try and boost your self-esteem and tell you how well you've done all the time, which is great. You have highs and lows, but it's never dull. And it's very easy, I think, to sort of take it all personally, although it was stressed time and again in the training. If your mentee doesn't succeed, it's not your fault. But you can't help wanting them desperately to do well.
I was looking for something that was out of my comfort zone, so something that I'd never done before or hadn't done anything similar before. To me, the really important thing is to get to understand that person and what makes them tick, and the kinds of hopes and aspirations that they have.
There are some real similarities between what makes a good mentor and what makes a good friend, but what the distinction is between the two is those boundaries, isn't it? So I'll go through what we're going to cover today. So we've done the feedback and recap of today. We're going to look at the criminal justice system and people in prison.
With people in prison, 80% of them will say either I got nothing out of school, or school failed me, or I failed at school, one of those things.
I would do a very in-depth assessment on the mentee. I would gain as much information as I can from what they want, from accommodation, what type of accommodation, whether it's supported, whether it's private rented, whether it's a hostel. I will find out what their drug and alcohol habits are. When I've got all the information I need, I would then get them to sign a confidentiality form. The confidentiality form says I can share information with police, probation, the drug and alcohol team. During that whole process, it will be somewhere in the back of my mind as to what mentor I can match with them, because I have to know my mentors, and then having done the work with the mentee, I know whether it's going to be a good match or not. I will support them in lots of different ways by doing a handover, which is a three-way meeting in the Induction and Pre-Release Centre when they very first meet their mentee, action learning meetings, one-to-ones, so if they've got a problem they know they can phone me, so that they have that contact at any given time, within reasons, within 24-hour period. But my main role is to support them through that mentoring journey.
I will initially meet with a mentee while they're still in custody, and I will do the needs assessment with them to see what kind of support they're going to need from their mentor. I will then do risk assessment and all of the relevant paperwork to see if we are going to be able to work with that individual. I will then match them up to a mentor who is going to work for them while they're still in custody for approximately 6 weeks, meet them on the day of release, and then work with them for up to 6 months in the community.
So Sussex Pathways worked with those individuals, providing volunteer mentors. Since that time, our services have developed quite considerably. We've worked with ex-mentees coming through the system and have used their feedback in helping us to develop the services further. We now work with men and women returning back to the community, as well as those on community orders. We work with people voluntarily who want to access the services of a mentor, but also our mentors are all volunteers from the community. We work with volunteers from all walks of life, and we train and support them to empower and impart information to individuals and help them access services in the community. If we can help them to access the services that are available to everybody in the community, we can then withdraw and they no longer need our services, so people can become independent and continue independent living once they've been released from prison.
Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face? You just bear this in mind.